Hello, students. So today we are going to start our new chapter, and that is steam turbine. So first of all, we will discuss about the function, basic working principle of steam turbine. Now we all know that at the entry of the turbine, at the entry of the turbine, what we have, because steam which is coming from the boiler has high pressure. It is basically higher pressure steam. But in turbine, we require velocity. We require pressure as well as we require velocity. But first of all, you need to convert that high pressure into high velocity. So that's why, how can you convert that? By use of nozzle. By use of nozzle, you can convert that high pressure steam into high velocity steam. Then after that high velocity steam, you have to uh, supply to the steam turbine. So it will strike with the blade of the turbine and transfer its momentum to the blade, and blades are connected to the shaft. So ultimately shaft will rotate. So this is basically main working principle of steam turbine. So here you can see that in steam turbine, suppose from here steam is coming which has a high velocity, and from here it is going out. That's why it will transfer its momentum to this blade, and blade will try to move towards this. So blades are connected with the shaft, so ultimately shaft also will rotate. I hope that you have understood this. Now we will try to understand it by use of this diagram. In diagram, it is specified that whatever we discussed, it is presented in form of the diagram. So here you can see that first of all we will try to understand the construction. So this is our shaft, these are the bearings. So shaft is supported on the bearings. So here on both the side we have blade, because blades are attached on the shaft. But here in diagram only one side is shown. So here you can see steam is entering from here. So first it will enter into the nozzle. In nozzle what will happen, that high pressure steam will become high velocity steam. So that steam will enter into the blade section. So it will strike with the blade, and then after it will give its momentum to this blade. So blade will rotate, and that's why shaft also rotate. So same thing is shown here. This is basically top view. So this is our nozzle in which pressure converted into velocity. Then after this steam will go towards the blade. So blade, it will strike with the blade rotate. So again same thing is explained here, but by use of pressure velocity diagram. So we all know that at the entry of the steam turbine we have high pressure and low velocity. Now in nozzle, this is the section for the nozzle. Here you can see this is for nozzle. So in nozzle what will happen, what is happening, pressure reduce suddenly and velocity get increase. Clear? And then after we are utilizing that high velocity in our moving blade. We are utilizing that high velocity in the moving blade. So this is basically working principle. Then after we will discuss about the classification of steam turbine. So according to working principle, two types are there: impulse and reaction. So about impulse and reaction we studied in our fluid power engineering also. So we all know that if first of all we will try to understand the impulse. So here in impulse you can see this, that whenever whenever before entry into the uh, or before entering at the turbine blade, if in nozzle we are converting our total pressure into the velocity before entering in the blade section, if we are converting our pressure in a total pressure into the velocity. So that is basically known as impulse turbine. Suppose here we have a pressure 50 bar. Suppose here we have pressure 50 bar, and in the condenser we have 1 bar. We have a pressure 1 bar. So in nozzle what we are doing, we are totally utilizing that pressure, and we are converting that pressure into velocity. Clear? We are totally reducing, or we are reducing that pressure from 50 to 1 bar, and we are converting that pressure into velocity, and later on we are utilizing this velocity. Clear? Now here you can see in the what is happening in reaction turbine. So in reaction turbine you can see, suppose this is 50 bar, 50 bar, and velocity is basically here less velocity. Now in fixed blade or nozzle, you can tell it as a nozzle also, because here pressure converted into velocity. So here our pressure converted from 50 to 25, and for that pressure drop we are converting that pressure drop into velocity increase. And then after, in moving blade what will happen, your velocity also get consumed, and also your pressure get consumed, and here suppose your pressure will become 1 bar. Clear? So I hope you have understood this. In moving blade your both get consumed, your velocity also get consumed, and your pressure also get consumed, but here only your velocity get consumed. Suppose I gave you one example, that suppose at the time of retirement, you got your suppose you got these 20 lakh rupees. Now in 20 lakh rupees you have utilized all your money, all your money you have utilized all the money, and you have converted that money into the commodities. That suppose you have purchased car and whatever necessity of you for your life you have purchased, and then after throughout your life you are utilizing that commodities. Clear? So you are utilizing that facilities. So that is similar to the our, or this is the example for impulse turbine. And suppose here you can see, suppose this is I am explaining just that you can easily understand, that's why I am explaining this. Suppose you got 20 lakh rupees, and here 10 lakh rupees. So you have utilized your 10 lakh, you have utilized your 10 lakhs, and you have purchased some of the uh, your commodities. So you have purchased some of the your necessity of the life, and then after throughout your life you are utilizing both. You are utilizing your commodity also, and also you are utilizing money. So this is similar to our reaction turbine. So I hope that this example became, or example with example it will be easy to understand impulse and reaction turbine. So these are the types of impulse turbine, these are the types of reaction turbine. Parson turbine is a reaction turbine. So now axial flow turbine, then according to direction, if suppose this is our shaft, if this is our shaft and our flow is taking place in this direction parallel to the axis of the shaft, so that is basically known as axial turbine. Clear? And what is radial turbine? Then after we have radial. So in radial we all know that, suppose this is your shaft, suppose this is the shaft, and steam is coming like this way, steam is suppose coming like this way. So this type will be known as radial turbine. Clear? Then after we will discuss about the tangential turbine. So suppose this is the shaft, and these are the blades. Suppose this is shaft, these are the blade, and if flow of steam taking place like this way, suppose this is the flow of steam, if it take place like this way, so this is known as tangential turbine. Clear? So some of the easy topics are there. So according to inlet pressure, different types are there. Then after according to number of conversion stages, single stage, multi stage, so that we will discuss later on in this chapter. then according to governing. So these also we will discuss in detail in this chapter. Clear? So now according to means of heat rejection, suppose after turbine, steam is going towards the condenser. So that type of device or that type of turbine is known as condensing turbine. And if you are not using utilizing any condenser, so that is basically known as non condensing turbine. Here you can see in the diagram that condensing and non condensing. If you will utilize the condenser, if you will not utilize the condenser, so condensing and non condensing. So backup pressure, suppose here you can see this, that here in both you are not using condenser, but this steam you are utilizing for the process heat. Suppose this is our 50 bar and suppose this is 1 bar. So you are utilizing steam which is coming out at 1 bar. But in this, in pass out turbine, suppose this is 50, this is 1, suppose this is 1 bar. But in between, suppose at 10 or 20 bar, you are taking some of the steam from the turbine and utilizing that steam for the heating. So that type of turbine is known as pass out turbine. I hope you have understood this. Regenerative turbine, so what is the function of regenerator? We discussed in our first chapter that whatever feed water is going to the turbine, a boiler, whatever the feed water, suppose this is the feed water, it is basically going towards the boiler. But before going to the boiler, if we will heat that water by use of steam, so that process is known as regeneration. So this type of turbine is known as regenerative turbine. Then after now we will discuss about the compounding. Now always we are using multi stage, we are not using single stage. Because if you will use single stage, suppose we will take example that you are using single stage, then first of all what you have to do, you have to convert that pressure into high velocity. So your velocity get increased. So this high velocity steam will pass from the blades. So blade will rotate with high velocity. If you are using only one stage, then this is the rpm, or this with more rpm. So this is the rpm, and it is very difficult, or it which is too high for the practical use. Clear? So this much rpm is not practical or not that much feasible to handle. That's why we have to use compounding or multi-staging. Multi-staging means more number of nozzle, more number of moving blade. Clear? More number of blades. So that is basically known as compounding, or you can also tell it as a multi-stage. Clear? Multi-stage. So we will discuss about the compounding. So initially three types are there. Three types of compoundings are there. Which are those? Pressure compounding, velocity compounding, pressure and velocity compounding. Clear? So we will see first velocity compounding first, or let us start with pressure compounding. Here in book it is given that pressure compounding, so that's why we will start with pressure compounding. So here you can see this, we are reducing the pressure step by step. We are reducing pressure step by step. That's why it is known as, in our simple language, it is known as pressure compounding. Suppose here we have, suppose here we have 50 bar. Clear? So what we did in nozzle, that 50 bar reduced up to 40 bar. Suppose here we have 40, so we have reduced our pressure from 50 to 40. So that's why what will happen, velocity increase. Then after, in moving blade, your pressure will not change, but your velocity get consumed. Clear? So then after, from 40 to 30, suppose from 40 to 30 you are reducing in our these moving blade, or sorry, in this nozzle, you are reducing your pressure from 40 to 30, and then after you are consuming this, and then after you are consuming that velocity. Clear? So suppose this is 50 to 40, so here 40 to 30, then after suppose from 30 to 1 bar, ultimately it will go to the condenser pressure. Clear? So that's why suppose here we will assume 50 to 50 to 30, then 30 to 10, and from 10 to 1. So pressure is reducing in a step by step we are reducing the pressure, and whatever the velocity generated, so that velocity we are utilizing for the rotation of the turbine. Clear? So this is known as basically pressure compounding. So pressure compounding is efficient, but we all know that its initial cost will be higher. Clear? And space required is also more. Now we will discuss about velocity compounding. So I told you that in velocity compounding, velocity will change step by step. Velocity will be reduced step by step. So here you can see, suppose this is 50, and you have reduced that pressure suddenly from 50 to 1 bar. Clear? So that's why your velocity get increased. Your velocity will suddenly get increased. Now you are utilizing that velocity. Suppose here you have reduced that velocity, here you have utilized that velocity, here you have utilized this velocity. So you are utilizing velocity in three step: step 1, step 2, step 3. That's why it is known as velocity compounding. Clear? So in pressure compounding you are reducing the pressure step by step. Here in velocity compounding you are utilizing or you reducing the velocity step by step. That's why it is known as velocity compounding. Now what is last is, so here some of the advantages are there. So it is less costly, less space, but losses are more. Losses, here you can see friction losses are more. Its cost is less, but losses are more in this. So then after we can see pressure velocity compounding. So it is combination of pressure and velocity compounding. So here you can see pressure compounding and velocity compounding also. So it is the combination of pressure compounding and velocity compounding. So I hope you have understood this. Clear? So here I am stopping this lecture. Thank you.